Greetings from amateur radio station KA9AMO in Princeton, Indiana. I have a little video I want to share with everyone today. It is about the SignaLink USB sound card and excellent customer service from Ham Radio Outlet. And before I go any farther, I want to make it very plain here that I was not paid to make this video, nor was I given any freebies to bribe me to do this video. It is of my own volition and an accurate account of my experiences. And with that being said, we'll get on to the real purpose of the video now that we've got the legalese out of the way. A couple of weeks ago, I called up Ham Radio Outlet and I ordered a USB SignaLink sound card and the jumper module that goes inside, so I didn't have to put all the little wire jumpers in it by hand, and the appropriate cable for my ICOM 718 transceiver. The salesperson that answered the phone was most courteous and knowledgeable, and didn't take very long. He had looked up the appropriate part numbers for the jumper and the cable and shipped them out the same day. A few days later, I received them on UPS as per my request, and I installed them on 718 ICOM transceiver. And I went through and followed the instructions that came with the SignaLink as far as the written instructions very carefully. Went through them several times to make sure I had all the sound card settings correct and all this, that, and the other. And I had installed the jumper module per the instructions and hooked the USB cable to the SignaLink and hooked the other cable from the SignaLink into the radio and got everything turned on. And the SignaLink just seemed to be kind of flaky or squirrely from the beginning, in that when you would I was using the WSTJX software, and I had the transmitter output on the SignaLink, the knobs roughly in between the 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock position, and I didn't get enough drive out of it, so I went back in and I took the little jumper off from the one pin behind the transmit control and put it over the 2 pins to increase the output, and got the output up about appropriate level. But the thing was just squirrely as all get out. You could use the slider on the bottom right hand side to control the power on WSJTX software, and I was wanting to run around 20 watts output. So I was hit the tune position into the dummy load, and I set it for 20 watts. Turned it off, and I got on the air. And I might have 1 or 2 transmissions. It was 20 watts. Then the next one might be 5 watts. Then the next one might be 35 watts. So I chased it with the slider and adjusting the level of the knob on the transmit knob on the front of the SignaLink. And I chased it, and I went through the provided instructions again. I looked at some other resources as far as videos and stuff of the SignaLink, and I just never could get the blooming thing to tame down. It might go a couple of transmissions at 20 watts, and like I said, the next one might be 5 watts. Then I'd chase it and bring the power back up. Then I might have 1 or 2 at 20 watts. Then all of a sudden I'd have 50 watts. So this went on for a couple of nights. And finally, I don't remember, the second or third night I had it, it went to the point that it would not even key the 718 ICOM. So I went through all the SignaLink instructions again, making sure that Windows hadn't done one of their dumb and stupid Windows updates and changed a setting on a sound card, and that was all right. And at about the same time, it quit decoding. And it didn't matter wherever I put the receive control on the front of the SignaLink, I could never get over on the left bottom side of WSJTX software where you've got your receive indicator, the little green bar goes up and down. It went down to like 15 or 20. It wouldn't decode anything. And I scratched my head for a good long while. So I keyed the microphone, radio on the dummy load. Radio was an upper sideband. Radio went from receive to transmit, spoke into the microphone, got my normal 85 watts or so output out, and I switched the radio to lower sideband, keyed the microphone, and I got same, about 85 watts out. Okay, well, I'm switched the radio to AM mode. I keyed the microphone, and I got my normal 35-ish watt carrier out. Switched the radio to CW mode, closed the CW key, and I got my normal 80-85 watts output. So in my mind, that told me that the radio was working. And unfortunately, I have two 718 ICOMs sitting side by side on the operating station. So I turned everything off. I moved the cable and everything over to the second 718 ICOM. I keyed it, upper sideband, lower sideband, radio went into transmit, got normal power output. AM, I got the normal carrier, CW, I got the normal output. So I'm thinking, okay, this radio works just exactly like the other one. Turned everything on, same thing. SignaLink would not key it, would not decode. So I'm thinking at this point, I have done just about everything I can think of on how to try to figure out what's going on in this situation. I really, after trying it on a separate radio and getting the same exact results, I was pretty certain that it was a SignaLink and not either the 718 ICOMs. So the next morning I called ham radio outlet back up, and I got a gentleman by the name of Tom. I don't remember his last name. Most cordial, jovial fellow, and I told him what the problem was, and we went through step by step everything that I had done for troubleshooting it, and he agreed with me that it had to be the SignaLink. He said most people didn't have a separate radio to try it on. I said, trying it on two different 718 ICOMs, it pretty well, dead nuts that it's got to be the SignaLink. So anyhow, the same morning that I was speaking to him, he got me a new SignaLink shipped out the same day, and the next day I got a return shipping label from them to ship it back on the old one on UPS, and I proceeded to ship the old one back on UPS to them. About 3 days later, the replacement arrived, and I unpacked it, set the jumper behind the transmit knob to the two wire position, because I knew the 718 needed a little more drive than the SignaLink put out in the one wire position. Hooked all the cables up, went through all the sound cards set up again just to verify that Windows hadn't pulled one of their stupid Windows updates and changed something on me. So, key up into the dummy load. Everything works pretty nice now. I can set it at 20 and it stays between 20 and 25 watts output. So, anyhow, I just wanted to give Ham Radio Outlet an attaboy. You guys done good. Pat you on the back. This is what customer service is supposed to look like. There was a problem. Called them up, explained what was going on. Shipped to the replacement unit the same day, label to send the old one back, and got the second product, worked just fine. And in the world, that's how business ought to be handled. Not like I've seen some other dealers in radio and electronics components do. And I won't mention the particular name of the one that I had some very sour dealings with. But anyhow,
This is to Ham Radio Outlet and Mr. Tom. Many, many thanks for a job well done. 73 from KA9 AMO.